6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother. What we do here is go back.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the live chat with me and Jesse. I'm Steven Jensen, that's Jesse Davin. We're going to be talking a lot about AEW today. We're going to be talking about the WWE draft. We're going to be talking Jesse showing up on NXT and AEW last night, Rick Rude style.
What?
So, a lot of good stuff happening today. The reason Jesse's laughing is because I have my mic muted as the before the show starts, and I was doing my my little vocal warm up beforehand.
It was beautiful.
And I let her listen to it. So, I hope I was muted at least, because otherwise we immediately got demonetized. So anyway, thanks.
Well, no one said anything, so.
Yeah, so I think I did it. Welcome to another live chat. Like I've said, if you want to throw your super chat our way, we will make sure to answer any question you've got. We will make sure to talk about anything you want us to talk about in the chat. And as we do with all of our kind of review shows and stuff like that, we basically just kind of talk to each other, go through everything kind of one at a time. But if there's something you want to talk about that has to do with that stuff, send a super chat. Donations are in the description as well. They work the same exact way. And yeah, that's about it. I mean, even if there's something you want us to talk about that we aren't talking about, a super chat, we will shift the conversation over to whatever you're looking for us to talk about. Unless, of course, it's something we're going to cover later on in the show anyways, but we'll do our best to give your money's worth. So that all being said, Jesse, before we talk about all this stuff, how are you doing today? And I should kind of ask at the same time, how are you doing? And also, what was it like to be featured on not only multiple wrestling shows last night at the same time, but also you're being covered by outlets such as Web is Jericho.
Yes.
And
on Facebook.
yes. So
Grandma, what up?
so
My grandmas are dead, but
you did it.
yeah, I did it. I made it. I have a very, very bad sinus infection. I keep getting them because I wear a mask everywhere I go.
Yeah.
I just went to the doctor yesterday, got checked out. Baby got checked out. Baby's fine. So everything's going fine. It's a sinus infection, not you know what. So I'm very congested. I do not feel very good. But other than that, I'm doing okay. Baby is great. I'm officially 6 months pregnant. Yesterday. So yes, work. This is tea. So as if being pregnant, I would be drinking like something that typically goes in a red Soul cup. But yeah, well, first off, how are you?
I'm good. There was a lot of wrestling over the weekend. There was some MMA as well. Yeah, a lot of wrestling. It was great. I had a fucking. I really might as well. Fuck. We're demonetized. That's all right. There you go. It was fucking great. Like I loved it. I watched the entire GCW collective. It was 12 shows. There was 4 each day: Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I wasn't there live. The only kind of downside of all that is I am seeing people popping for the big C right now.
I know. Best wishes to Dan the Dad. By the way, he came out and openly did something. And if you are one of those people that's like giving him crap for catching that, it's like, hello, like everyone's getting it. Like just wish best wishes, man. Like,
yeah, I know he feels terrible about it. I saw a tweet that he deleted like really quickly earlier today, and I won't like say what, but I'll kind of paraphrase, and I understand why he kind of deleted it, but it was really along the lines of like. You can tell he feels awful because there were,
sure.
you know, and like it being such a safe event. Because so for those of you who might not know, I'll pull the curtain back a little bit. So like I've known Danny for a while. Like he did my show a long time ago, and he took over Glory Pro Wrestling along with Kevin Lee Davidson when Michael Elgin had his whole Me Too stuff go on, and he left Glory Pro. Danny Adams and KLD took the ball and like they've done amazing things with that company since all that went down. Like, and Danny is obviously, by saying that, he's helping book the shows with Glory Pro, and Glory Pro ran a show this weekend. So not only like was he wrestling, like he was responsible for, you know, the talent on his shows and stuff like that, and making sure things were safe. And from what I understand, because I've talked to a lot of people, wrestlers and fans that were there, and I mean they were doing everything possible.
It looked like it.
Yeah, I mean, and from what I understand, if somebody like took their mask down or something, they were pretty much immediately called out for it. Like it wasn't like a hostile mob,
like
but it was like
AEW.
like you were saying, exactly. Like it was pointed out and corrected, or like people were probably asked to leave if it became a problem or something like that. And yeah, I mean, this weekend, I mean, so that was the one negative. And Dan the Dad, his name's Danny Adams. The guy is a super nice guy, and like this. You don't want this to happen to anybody, but you especially don't want it to happen to someone like that who, like, you can tell he's not happy about it. You know what I mean? Like, so.
Oh, who would be?
Right. Like, you know, he's thinking of other people, and, you know, I feel bad that he has to go through it. But it's great that because he didn't have to say anything. Like, as fucked up as that would have been. He didn't have to say anything. And he came out and was like, and I saw that tweet has like 10,000 likes or something, where it was like, everyone's seeing it. And it's also. Really? The one upside to it though is by seeing that, I could be wrong, but I think that's what it looked like when I saw it. But what it looks like is it's like that happened, but now it's like a big red flag to everybody. Like, go get tested. Like this, you know, if you were there, go get tested. Like, this happened to me. Look, like I was being safe about it. We were all being safe about it, but like we all still need to go get tested. And even if you go get tested and it says that you don't have it. Go to get tested again one more time the next day. Just double check it.
It's easy. Yeah.
And so yeah, that was the one negative of the weekend. But as far as everything else, like, It was amazing. And I did, if y'all want to check it out, I did a 2-hour review of the collective for Fightful, which is free. It's normally part of the Fightful Select service, but you can listen.
Free.
Yeah, it's free for y'all to listen to right now. You can check it on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you listen to podcasts. It's totally free this week. And the most rewarding thing for me over the weekend was the fact that I've had a lot of wrestlers and other fans of wrestling message me directly since the weekend and thanked me for the review and for some of the tweets and stuff like that, which made me feel great because that's something that I pride myself on, especially when I talk about knowing someone like Danny Adams a little bit better, or some of these other wrestlers. Some of these wrestlers I've literally known since like their third match ever. Like I just happened to see them at like a bar or a gym, or like I knew they were training with somebody, or I was trying to get some interviews when like nobody wanted to do my show because why would they? You know what I mean? So it was like, so I pride myself on being trustworthy. Like for instance, I know of at least 2, possibly 3 people, at least 2 for sure, that I know have since this weekend signed contracts with the WWE and are going to be at the Performance Center before the end of the year. But I'm not going to say who they are because they trusted me with information. I'm not going to leak it. But that's kind of the cool thing too, is like these people trust me, and that's the most important thing at the end of the day for me, is that I have the trust of people that I respect. So thank you to everybody who reached out over the weekend, anybody who checked that podcast out, because talking for 2 hours straight without anybody talking back to you like isn't easy, especially when you're talking about 12 different shows, and having to remember all this stuff. But it was also worth it. And shout out to Fightful. They covered the cost of it was $150 for the collective, and they covered it for me. So I mean, like, shout out to them too. Like they took care of me big time for that. So I appreciate it. So that's so I'm good with I've talked enough for the next like 10 minutes or so. Let me know how everything was with last night, because that was insane. Like you show up on both shows, and then like I said, there's actual articles being written on you about it.
Well, okay, so here's what happened. So like last week, right? I was in the Wrestling Observer Twitch chat, right? And I was like chatting, and someone said, "Hey, I saw you on NXT at Takeover or something." And I was like, "No, you didn't. Wasn't in there." And they were like, "No, I swear to God, it was you." And I was like, "No, it wasn't. I was not. I guarantee I was there. My laptop was not open." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I didn't really think anything of it. And I think someone else had mentioned it on Twitter. I don't know. And then last night, someone said, "Hey, are you in the Thunderdome?" Because let's just call the virtual fan thing the Thunderdome, sure. Okay? Yeah. It's we know it's the Capitol Wrestling Center. You want to be picky, we get it. But the virtual fan aspect, Thunderdome. So someone's like, "Hey, I just saw you in the Thunderdome." And I was like, "No, you didn't." I was like, "I'm watching AEW. What are you talking about?" And they're like, "No, I swear it was you." And I was like, "No, it's not." And so I was like, "Okay, whatever." I was like, my husband's watching because my friend Tracy actually got to go to NXT last night. So she was there, so I was looking for her. So shout out to Tracy. And so he was kind of like watching, and then he turned it off because he got bored or something. And so he came in and watched with me. And all of a sudden, someone tags me in this tweet from NXT or WWE. And in the background, sure enough, I'm like sitting there behind Tyler Breeze going like this, like doing something. And I was like, I was like, "Oh my God." And my husband goes, "What?" And I'm like, "Am I tripping? Is that me?" And he stood up and he was like, "What?" And I'm like, "Dude, they're using my footage." And I was like, okay. And I was like, "Yo, that is hilarious." Like, and it was so funny as we were talking about going to this show too, that AEW show. How epic would that have been if I would actually been in Jacksonville at Dynamite and at NXT? That would have been hilarious. But obviously it's kind of expensive to travel, so we didn't get to do it. But like, so I immediately was like, I'm exposing. Well, I wasn't like I'm exposing them, but right. Just like I gotta like let people know how funny this is. Like, this is so funny. Like, I wasn't mad, like, not at all. And I'm, like, literally no makeup on. Look, my hair is a mess. It's always a mess.
I hear you. Yeah.
And
I got it right here.
Yes. And, like, I just have this, like, big hoodie on. Yeah, I was like, what? And I'm like, yo, that's old. That's really old too. That's from when like what the Keith Lee thing was, you know? I think because that's the same outfit I was wearing when I saw Randy Orton's butt. It looked like
nice.
a butt.
You're pointing at it. Oh.
Yeah, I was going like this. It's like right in my face. But anyways, I was like, oh my god. So I made a video and I was like, yo, this is me right now. I do not have my laptop open. I have no makeup on or whatever. I'm watching Dynamite. I'm watching AEW. I'm not even watching the product. And I'm in the Thunderdome. I was like, legendary. Like, I don't even have to try. And here's this. And people are thinking that I was like mad. People are thinking that I was like upset or like outraged. I saw there was like a lot of outrage. But listen, guys, and gals, and people who are gender fluid, like, when you agree to be in the Thunderdome, you have to click I agree to the terms of service. Guarantee it's in the terms of service somewhere.
For sure.
Like, you cannot tell me that everyone sat there and read that whole dang thing. Like, you cannot tell me that. Like,
oh no, it's the same with like Apple. Like, people buy an iPhone and like they can probably do whatever they want with you and your whole entire family, but like people are still gonna buy the iPhone. Right, exactly.
And or like you agree to the terms of service of like Facebook or YouTube or Twitter.
Same.
You know.
Yep.
You know, and it's so I wasn't mad. I was just like, yo, heads up, people, look out, because, you know, people, if you have people that are going to tell you, hey, I saw you on NXT, and you're like, no, you didn't, maybe they did. So, like, look for your old footage or whatever. I mean, it's hilarious. I was flattered, because to me, that means that my reactions were good enough to use twice. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Who doesn't? Who doesn't want to...
It's crazy because, like, I haven't done the Thunderdome at all myself, but, like, I'd imagine there's people who've done it, like, every single show and never been shown, like, on the hard cam. Like, and you seem to get it, like, every time. There's probably people who are like, how the hell is she doing this? And are you showing up on 2 shows at the same time? Like, wait, what?
Right? I was like, what? And so I put that out there because I thought it was funny. And, huh?
Can I be on the screen?
Sure, you want to be on the screen? Scarlett wants to be on the screen.
Scarlett, run in.
Scarlett, run in.
So guys, this is a perfect place.
Careful. So yeah, so I did that, and then also.
I have to tell. Oh my God.
What is that?
What?
Thank you, Ryder. You're the best one in the world. Yes, I got today. No.
She's farted on me.
Right. Right. The best is the people who are going to listen to the audio version of this and be like, what the hell is happening right now?
All right. Good job, Scarlett.
No.
Awesome. Thank you. You can have that sponge if you want.
I still need.
But anyway, so.
I still need to sell people. So today.
She wants to sell things. So.
No, I'm telling people.
She wants to sell things?
She wants to tell people. What do you want to say? Say it quickly.
So I have to do something. No, I have to do all the stuff.
No.
So then I'm going to use it. So then I know this thing. Then I'm going to do stuff. But it's super fast. And it's a long time. So today I'm going to.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much.
I don't know, but it's been as long. And it's it. So guys, today I'm going to end it.
I have no idea what she's talking about.
And Mommy, say goodbye.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Right now. Let them go right now.
No, I can't let them go.
Oh, she's trying to get us to go away.
Yeah. No.
I'm really wanting.
Hey. What did we talk about? What did we talk about? We talked about having our listening ears on and being our best behavior, right?
Yeah, but my teacher only does that. No.
Your teacher only does. Well, I am your mom.
Oh. Whoa. The teacher just kind of pulled rank on you.
Weird.
Yeah. So anyways, back to our story. Yeah, so then all of a sudden, like, Wrestling Inc. picked it up. And I know Fightful Select had... You can have that. Fightful Select posted it on Select.
Yeah.
Because I just straight up told Sean, I messaged Sean, be careful with that. she's got makeup, so anyway, so I told Sean, I was like, yo, they're actually using my old Thunderdome footage, like for sure using it. And so he reported on Fightful Select, and then this morning Web is Jericho, posted it on Facebook, which, it's just the plethora of internet sources,
Yes.
I swear to God, if you go onto like WWE's Facebook page, like half the people in the comments think it's real.
Think that wrestling's real?
Yeah, I swear to God.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And I'm not going to ruin it for him, So, yeah, so it just like kind of blew up. And...
Wait, hold on a second. Wait. Hold on, I just want to make sure I got that right. You don't want to... Wait, so how... So they saw the picture of you on both shows and then was like, wait, wrestling isn't real? Is that what you were saying?
No. I'm just saying in general. It's
real. Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say that would be hilarious. I think I told you the story once, but the guy that I knew I knew him through someone else, and he became a pro wrestling referee. Did I ever tell the story? And and he didn't know. Yeah, he didn't know it was fake until he was in the ring, like learning how to ref a match, and was like, wait a second, I'm supposed to be telling these guys how much time's left and what's left, and I was like, wait, did this guy actually think he was gonna be going in there and being like 1, 2, rope break, actually separating the wrestlers and getting having to be real close on that late near fall, I was like, oh my God, the guy was 20 when this happened, so I totally believe that I see what you're saying. I totally get your point. Totally get it.
Yes. We got a super chat from Dylan.
Thank you, Dylan.
I'll read it. It says, super chat from Dylan. Thank you so much, Dylan. We super duper appreciate it. You forgot to say thank you. You want to say thank you to Dylan? Well, yeah, because I got my legs up because my feet hurt. I'm going to be careful.
Are you on your couch or something? You have your
No. She's climbing up. It's super tall. Say thank you.
Thank you. Today we got.
Okay, now we gotta read it. It says, have you guys seen my YouTube videos recently? I'm gonna do a review of both.
I didn't.
Yes, of course.
Scarlett has not watched the video.
No, Scarlett has not. I'm gonna do a review of both NXT and NXT UK right after dinner.
We'll eat your cupcakes.
Eat your cupcakes. I have seen your YouTube channel. I have. I haven't seen your review of NXT and NXT UK. But, yeah, go and check out Dylan's channel, you guys.
Yeah, I have not seen your reviews yet. I did see you direct message me. I haven't, I just saw that in my list of direct messages you were in there, and I have not watched it yet, but I do plan to. You've been supporting the hell out of the show. I do want to check out your show as well. I just haven't had the time yet. The last couple of days I spent editing another video for All Things MMA, and those take a lot of my time, on top of the 12 wrestling shows I watched this weekend, so... But I will get to it, Dylan. I appreciate it.
Why did the socks cross the road?
Why did the what cross the what?
The socks.
The socks?
No, the socks.
The frogs?
No, the socks.
The what?
The socks. The socks.
The shark.
The shark?
No, the socks. The socks.
The rock?
Why did the sock cross the road?
Why?
Because it wanted to get to the other side of the poopers.
Ew.
Hey, why did the unicorn cross the road?
Why?
Because I'm telling you.
Oh, she's telling you. He said why.
Why?
Because the unicorn wanted to get to the other side of the blue butt.
The
blue
butt?
The blue butt, yes.
The blue butt.
The boo butt?
Yeah.
Ha ha ha. That was really funny.
that was terrific.
That was great.
I got this one again. Why did
Throwback?
the
Throwback, what's up, man?
What?
Why did somebody eat the painter?
Why did the paint the painter?
So why did the paint eat it?
Why?
Because they wanted to poop it out.
Ew.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty gross.
That's gross.
Your turn.
All right.
My turn? She just said my turn.
Yeah. Well, that's enough. How about we take a break from jokes, and then in a little bit I'll call you back in here, and we can do more jokes. How about that? Okay.
Why did the unicorn eat the poop?
Honey. All right, it's time. It's time. Come on.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
It's never time.
It's never time. But hey, stop it. You can just sit here. If you can sit here and be quiet, you can stay.
Throwback, you're still fairly early, man. We still haven't even gotten into the reviews of anything yet. So.
Yeah, we were just talking about the me being in the Thunderdome
Goodbye, I'll miss
thing,
you.
and how people are like, some people thought they were like using like a digital clone of me or something.
I need that story.
Oh, that's nuts. No, there's digital clones.
Now I can't see it.
Yeah, or like they were like using my digital likeness, and they have like rights to my name. I'm like, no, it's just the footage that they had. I mean, it's kind of scary that they're like recording you. I mean, that's kind of embarrassing. Like, I hope you guys aren't deleting.
I kind of expected that though. Like,
yeah, which is probably why they have banned like IPs, because they probably go back and like watch it and make sure people aren't doing naughty stuff. And what else? Oh yeah, so like just during the commercial breaks, make sure you aren't doing stuff or saying bad things.
That's a good word of advice, because
like don't talk about WWE. I sat there during the commercial breaks and I was like, y'all, if you tell me what to do, I will do it. I was like, I will show your product. I was like, I will come back. I did. I was like just having fun with it.
I can just imagine some guy like he's watching the show like how I am right now, but like pantsless, and like Raw's on, and it's like a commercial break, and he just like stands up to like go get a beer or something, and like ends up just dong into the screen. I imagine that's probably happening also.
Oh yeah.
And Greg Cherry, I saw you're in here too. If you're still here, welcome back, man. And of course, yes, we are live. I know you're making the Rick Rude joke. Check out Greg Cherry's channel as well. He's putting a lot of content out there. So you want to do some whoa, what's happening there?
Sorry, I was trying to get Scarlett to get down. She's been quite a diva today, the past week. So, but she's down there. She's playing with the old makeup. So,
fun.
Yeah, we can get into what do we want to get into first?
Let's do I'll let you choose. I mean, it doesn't matter to me. Like, I mean, I'm definitely way more interested in the AEW stuff than the WWE stuff. But there's a lot we can talk about because, like, the draft and all, so really up to you.
Let's just go into the draft kind of first, just because it's kind of like a general thing.
Cool.
And it's really more of a, like, what we thought of it in general, not like let's go down pick by pick and say what we think. And,
yeah, so I've got like the pick by pick here, and then I've also got like what the rosters I think should look like. So yeah, I mean, like, I will say, so I listened to Sean Ross Sapp and Jimmy Van talking about the draft, and I agree with a lot of what they were saying. So if you listen to that podcast, there'll probably be a lot of repeating here, but like a lot of it just didn't make sense to me. Like,
no.
Especially that New Day thing. I know Sean's like won't shut up about it, but it's like he has every right in the world to be like pissed off about it. Like, it's so weird that you wouldn't take all three of them, and then if you didn't want Big E, you would trade Big E to SmackDown. Like, you wouldn't just give up an asset for no reason like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fact that Retribution was drafted before like the United States Champion or the Intercontinental Champion. And the fact that Retribution was drafted, like...
Oh, yeah. I heard a story that kind of ties in. It was a while back that Jericho did with, I think it was one of those YouTube channels, like Talk Wrestling, or not Talk Wrestling. That was Jeff Meacham's thing. I can't remember. It was out in the UK, I think. Wrestle Talk, maybe that's it. And
yes.
He was doing like a thing on stage, and... and basically he was telling this whole story. It was this long story about how he wrestled Fandango at WrestleMania and all this stuff about it. And he was saying that WrestleMania, he was pitching to Vince McMahon, like, you know, if he was said initially he was supposed to wrestle Ryback, and then Ryback wound up wrestling Mark Henry, so he was trying to figure out who was going to wrestle at WrestleMania. And he was thinking, well, Wade Barrett's the Intercontinental Champion. Maybe since I have the most Intercontinental title reigns, it'll be me going for the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania. Maybe that's what Vince has for me. And when he talked to Vince about it, he tells a story about how he's telling Vince, like, hey, Vince, like, you want me to wrestle Fandango in his first match? Like, what the hell? Like, how about me versus Wade Barrett, Intercontinental title, for, like, the 10th time I can win it, blah, blah, blah. And Vince was like, who the fuck cares about the Intercontinental title? so even Vince McMahon himself admits that nobody gives a fuck about the Intercontinental title. So it wasn't surprising to see Sami Zayn go so late in the draft. But, like, it is fucked up. Like, I mean, their Intercontinental title should mean a lot more than that, but to the WWE, it just doesn't. So yeah, you had that.
I'm a tantrum right now.
You're good. Titus O'Neil getting drafted at all is hilarious to me. I think I heard Sean talking about how since the last draft, the only time Titus O'Neil has had matches on...
No, he got drafted.
Yeah, I know.
Oh.
I just said that. What are you talking about?
I think he didn't get drafted.
No, I said, yeah, he got, like, the fact that he got drafted is hilarious to me. And since he got drafted last year, because he got drafted the last time also, he's only had 2 matches on Raw since the last draft. Like, why would you draft this guy? It makes no sense.
Why would you waste a draft pick on him? Yeah.
Like,
why would you do that on, like, Raw Talk or Talking Smack? Like, why would you waste it on, like, a show?
And this stuff, too, like, this is nothing against women's wrestling in general. Like, I do not want to sound sexist, but this makes no sense to me. Like, how do you take Naomi and Bianca Belair? I mean, Bianca Belair, I can tell they're trying to do something with. But, like, Naomi in particular, like, she hasn't been doing anything. And yeah, but still, even before that, like, she hasn't done anything since, like, WrestleMania 33 when she won that that Women's Battle Royal or whatever. But my point is, like, Naomi over... Like, the New Day? Like, what? Like, I mean, over Ricochet? I know they haven't done much with Ricochet, but still, it's like, Jey Uso, who's wrestling for the World Championship at Hell in a Cell, got picked after Naomi? Like, this doesn't make any sense to me. The Hurt Business getting picked, that makes a ton of sense to me.
Yes.
But once again, they took the whole Hurt Business, and they only took 2 members of the 3 out of New Day. It just doesn't make it just doesn't make sense.
And, like, for SmackDown, if I'm in the SmackDown War Room with Cletus the Robot and company, which they didn't show, which made me so mad, because that was so funny last year, when they had all those, like, cameras in the War Rooms. I thought that was more drafty, you know what I mean?
It was cheesy, though. It was.
It was cheesy, but it was, like... I thought it was funny. I liked it.
They're like, yeah, we got AJ Styles. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tap it
no,
up.
I liked when they cheered for, like, getting Natalia. Like, it was, like, a #1
Oh, right.
right. Joe Burrow. Like, oh, gosh, that was so funny.
Sure.
Or, like, when Raw would get someone and, you know, Cletus the Robot would be all sad in the corner, like, me.
Oh, right.
It was so funny. But...
Okay, fair enough.
But if you were in that War Room and you're going, I'm SmackDown GM Adam Pearce, who does both apparently, and I'm picking Seth Rollins as my, like, basically my, other than Roman Reigns, my first pick, other than your champion, which totally makes sense. I'm also going to draft Dominic and Rey Mysterio because they seem to get along just great, and they're just going to provide so much of a locker room environment that's just going to be so beneficial.
Yeah.
Like, why? Like, that was the most disappointing thing because I was so excited for Seth Rollins to finally switch brands. I am so tired of seeing him on Monday nights. I was like, this is going to be the fresh start that he needs. I was like, Monday Night Messiah no more. You know, clearance that ugly sweater that they have that says Monday Night Messiah, the Christmas sweater that they just put on sale. I was like, yes, finally Seth Rollins is going to have, like, something else to do. And then what do? They draft Dominic and Rey Mysterio. I'm like, that I don't...
Oh, by the way, and Murphy.
And Buddy... It's like, ooh. So it's just going to be the same things on Friday. I'm like, no. The draft is supposed to be, like, a hard reset. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of stoked for it because, like, I don't watch SmackDown. So, like...
That's true.
I now I don't have to even watch all that anymore, which is great. So yeah, I mean, that's just where I'm at with that, I guess. Like, even at the top, like, this makes sense, right? Like, I mean, Drew McIntyre,
Absolutely.
That's understandable. But I will say, if it's me, I'm going Roman Reigns 10 out of 10 times. First overall pick. Like, if I had my choice between Roman and Drew, like, I'm going Roman all day. Especially because, like, you know that, I mean, hypothetically speaking, you know he's gonna wrestle The Rock at some point, right? Like we know that's gonna happen, but like I guess in storyline we don't know that yet. I guess so. Like I guess that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
But I just kind of figure like you draft Roman Reigns, you're kind of inherently drafting a gigantic Roman Reigns versus Rock match sometime in the near future. So like that's so humongous. That's the one thing that I hate about the fact that I don't watch SmackDown is that I do really like what Roman Reigns is doing a lot. So,
oh god, yeah, great.
So I have been watching the clips of when he's been on SmackDown, so I am keeping up with what he's doing. But yeah. Oh, and the other thing that you pointed out, Jesse, was Retribution, which I listened to Alvarez talking about this on like their review of the draft, and he put it better than I could. He basically said like, poor T-Bar has to get on Twitter every week and like have to explain to everybody the reasoning behind these things because the WWE has no way of explaining. Like Mustafa Ali is hyped up to do this big speech about leading Retribution and then just doesn't appear on the show. And then they then they draft the whole group that's trying to destroy their company.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
Because it's like they have Ali this huge reveal as the leader of Retribution, and where's he at? He's sitting at home waiting to be drafted.
Oh, and speaking of where's he at? Where the fuck is Raw Underground?
It's Raw Underground, dude. Oh my god, where is it? It's gone. Where's Shane McMahon? Is he okay?
With no explanation. Just this thing we've been doing for like a few months now. It's just.
Well, didn't they draft some Raw Underground people?
They drafted Dabba-Kato.
Yeah.
They drafted the motherfucking goat, fucking Riddick Moss, my boy.
They did?
Yeah, and I think Raw did also, and I think Raw also drafted Arturo Ruas from there too.
Okay.
But is it okay though? Because now we're just a part of Raw, and now are they like just doing that now? Because like I don't know if I necessarily want to see Riddick Moss just like wrestling fucking R-Truth or whatever. I want to like he was getting over in the Underground. Like what he was doing was working. Now I think the whole concept of Raw Underground should ultimately be to do what they're doing, like to make them into full-time like roster members that have a lot more credibility. Where like Riddick Moss is fighting you, and you know he's crazy, and like he might knock you out with a punch because you've seen him do it on Raw Underground. Like. But it hasn't been going on long enough to do that. Like, I feel like Raw Underground kind of just started, and it was kind of getting good. Like, not like ironically good. It was like kind of actually getting kind of good. And
it's been 3 weeks. We are past quarantine. Like, but and I get maybe they delayed it because of the draft.
Wait, hold on. They delayed Raw Underground because of that? Is that what
that's what I'm assuming. Like, it's been kind of speculated that that's the reasoning behind why Raw Underground was delayed because of positive tests, because they were just super short staffed because they had that big outbreak not too long ago.
But why would that be any more dangerous than just being on Raw?
I don't know. But like, here's the thing. Like, they could have made this make a lot of sense had they said, you know, we have a draft coming up. I don't know when they announced it, but they could be like, we have a draft coming up, and we've got all these guys who feel lost in the shuffle. We have a lot of guys who feel like they could fight their way to the top, fight your way to the main roster. Like, they could have used Raw Underground as, like, you can fight your way and show through hard gray. You could have Shane McMahon hype that up and say, you know, this is your time. This is your time to show me what you got. Show me what you got in the Underground, dude. We're going to do this Underground style. We're going to do this a different way because I'm Shane McMahon, and I have a lot of sneakers. Like,
yeah, he does.
You know, because I'm Shane McMahon. I'm cool. Shane O'Mac.
Shane McMahon. That's like, sick, bro. That's sick.
That's sick, bro. I miss that. I love Shane McMahon in, like, the worst way possible.
What they should have done, and they didn't, is they should have had Dabba-Kato knock out Braun Strowman in the Underground. Because that doesn't really count. Because that doesn't really count for anything, like, for real. Like, you know what I mean? It's different than, like, being on Raw or SmackDown. Because with them bringing him to Raw now, we just saw him get his ass beat by Strowman. And it's like, all the credibility... I mean, like, it's still Strowman, obviously. Like, everyone else he still probably destroys. But they should have Shane McMahon just being Dabba-Kato's manager. Like a fight promoter. Like, I don't know why they don't just do that. Like, it's like, it's all right there for him. And maybe they will do that. But I think Shane McMahon as his manager would be really great.
I would love it. I'm down with that. Maybe that's what they'll do since they just kind of the Raw Underground is closed. They shut it down. The man got to it. They
The
got
man got
exposed
to
or
it.
something.
The man got to it after the first week, though. After they took the dancing chicks out of there.
I know what happened. Like, where'd they go? Are they okay?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a fair question to ask. What happened to them?
For real. I mean,
because the last we saw, they were like fighting each other, and then we always kind of forgot about that.
oh my god, that's wild. Yeah, what the heck? I don't know. So that's kind of like my thoughts. Also, breaking up Otis and Tucker after they did that whole "I'm a lawyer" thing, like that really sucked.
So you're gonna have to explain that a little bit to me. The I'm a lawyer thing.
Well, well. So Otis has to go to court for
Why?
his Money in the Bank briefcase.
Was it stolen? I saw Miz and Morrison like try to get it from him or something.
Maybe they did. I don't even remember. I just remember there was like a Money in the Bank lunchbox in the background of the shot.
Now let me just ask real quick: Is this a story worth telling? Because I don't know if this is.
It's worth telling if you want to know why their split was so
weird. Yeah, I do, because I know they took Mandy. Because I know they took Mandy Rose from Otis like before that, which was weird, right? Like she moved to Raw. So okay, yeah, go ahead.
But isn't Otis on Raw now, or is Otis on SmackDown?
I think Otis moved to Raw, didn't he?
Because if they didn't break up, my thumbnail makes no sense.
What day would this have happened? I guess on SmackDown. Tucker, that looks like a Raw on that side. Otis, SmackDown.
Okay, so so they did. So thank God.
So Otis chose to choose just Otis and not Tucker. That's what SmackDown did.
Yeah.
Instead of taking them both.
Basically, what happens to their backstage, and Otis is like he gets served. They're in the locker room, and like I think it was like a woman came in, which is weird. It was like, "Congratulations, you've been served," and so they're taking him to court, and Tucker's like, "Don't worry, they can't do this. It's illegal. I know the law," or something like that. And he's like, "Thank you, Tucker. Thank you, Tucker." And then like they just kind of closed his dad, and it's like, "Until next time," you know. And now, poor Otis is left to defend for himself without his lawyer, Tucker. Without Tucker. And I don't know what's going to happen. And I hope Otis doesn't. If they take that Money in the Bank briefcase off of Otis, I will be so mad.
It wouldn't make any sense. Yeah.
They've done nothing with that story. It's
true. Well, I think part of that probably has to do with the no fans thing. Because, like, that's kind of a lame, like, you know, like,
very fan-oriented gimmick.
Yeah, like I feel the same about the Royal Rumble this year. It's like if they do the Royal Rumble with no fans, like that's not the same. Like,
well, they might as well just do it in Florida. We can have stadiums full capacity.
True, and you know, I'm not gonna say like my full views on like whether or not I think that should happen or not. But what I will say is if it's open and people want to go and they want to attend, it would be great to see fans in the crowd for those kind of shows. Like it really would.
That's an important. You have to have people in the crowd for the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, otherwise it's like, I don't know if it's even worth, like I hate saying it because the Royal Rumble is one of my favorite matches of the entire year, every year.
Me too, it's my favorite pay-per-view. I look forward to that.
Yeah, but it's just, but I would even say like delay it unless you can get fans in there. It's just too, there's some, like I don't mind a lot of this stuff without fans, but like that's one of those where like the countdown, the people running out, the entrances, the surprises and all that stuff, it's like, it kills all of it without any reaction. So, I mean, they can pipe in the noise and all, but like we know it isn't real. Like, you know. So, I don't know. This is kind of my 2 cents on it. But let me see what they're saying in the chat here.
Okay, sorry, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me? Okay, good. Sorry, I was like running. I was just checking on Scarlett because she like disappeared. Well, she didn't disappear, but she was being quiet, and I was very suspicious. So.
Gotcha.
But yeah. So yeah.
Anything else you want to talk about WWE wise before we move to AEW?
I don't know if anyone has a super chat of anything they want to talk about the draft. Please do that. I'm more than open to talk about things. I'm quite forgetful these days, so that would be helpful.
And just for what it's worth, like, even though I don't watch SmackDown and I don't really like the WWE product right now, there are things about the shows that I do like. Like, there are still things, like, I love the Hurt Business, for instance. Like, you know, there are things about some of the shows where, like, if you were to ask, like, I'm not going to just, like, shit all over the WWE. It's just, there's a lot of it that I do think is really bad, but there's still some good in there for sure. Like I said, the Roman thing is great.
Yeah, oh my god, that's great. I'm like trying to think of what else is great. We love the Hurt Business. I think Asuka's amazing. AJ Styles made me laugh.
I wish they'd put Abyss back with AJ Styles on TV. I thought that worked really well when they did that. Oh,
yeah. Yeah, what happened to that? Probably because of the thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the reasoning was.
Maybe it isn't comfortable. Yeah, but they did extend the Amway contract, by the way, for a whole another month.
That's smart.
So they'll be at which is so smart because especially with all of these people getting the big thing, you know, randomly, like Nick Saban. I mean, he's not a wrestler. It would be really funny if he was. But still, like it seems to be like such like a crapshoot now. Like it's gotten smarter or something, to where like no matter what protective measures you take, you never know. So it's just smart.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's really interesting putting it like that because that is true. It's one of those things where like I still think we don't know a lot about kind of how it works, but I also don't know like how dangerous it actually is. Like I just don't I don't think any of us like really do like for sure.
That's what's scary.
Like I've been staying basically quarantined this entire time because I work from home anyway. So like I haven't had to like be around large groups of people very often and stuff like that. So like I've it's just one of those things where like it kind of works out either way for me. But like, man, like I don't know. I feel like you can also take every precaution in the world to go out there and you can still get it. But also, so many people are beating it so easily, too. So that, like, I mean, it's definitely affecting a lot of people negatively, for sure. But then there's a lot of people I know that, like, they get it, nothing really happens, they don't really have any symptoms, it's gone, and that's that. It's like, it's just, and then some people, like, you die. It's just crazy to me.
Yeah, it's so scary. Like, why? You don't want to take a risk no matter what.
Well, sorry, there's a delay, audio and video for Jesse. That's probably the OBS player. Yeah, it's especially when we're running to try to show like the other stuff on the screen and have all this other stuff. I think the PC I use just has a hard time keeping up with her Skype call.
We're trying our best.
Yeah,
thank you for letting us know, for real.
Yeah,
we really appreciate that.
Yeah, 100%. And sometimes this doesn't happen. And I just don't know. I've actually reached out to some people to try to get help fixing certain stuff like that. And really the main answer I get is like I'd have to get like an entire new PC that's like just like faster.
Just throw the whole computer out.
Well, but the thing is too, it's like part of why it runs the way it does is because I mean I video edit full time, so like I mean there's these gigantic files, and I have a 4 terabyte external hard drive hooked up to this, so like I'm doing the best I can with it. So hope it's still all right for y'all.
Yeah.
Well. Oh, and I'm going to give a quick shout out. If anyone has any last minute, anything about WWE, let us know. Shout out to this team here. So they're currently known as Violence is Forever. They are Dominic Garrini and Kevin Koo. Their first tag team, their first initial name was SadConf. And I just wanted to show this off because these guys went out there over the weekend. They retained the Southern Underground Pro tag team titles, and then they won the Black Label Pro tag team titles in the same weekend. They are covered in gold, and both of them are signed to MLW. So I am really excited. Garini's been there for a while. Q's on his way there. They've already been doing some vignettes and stuff like that. So, and that's not like breaking news or anything. People knew that, but it's something where like I've been a supporter since the name change. So like I'm super happy to see. That's my favorite thing about weekends like this past weekend is like it's bittersweet when someone gets signed because you're like it depends on where they get signed though. Like if they get signed to WWE, I'm usually like, oh no. Like I heard Dragon Lee's heading to WWE and I'm like, why would you do that? Like you've seen Lucha House Party. Like why would you do this? They're just gonna do that to you. Try StreamYard, it's awesome. I like StreamYard too. There's just not as much you can do with it. But I use StreamYard for my Fightful post shows, usually because it's much easier to use. Less issues and less echo problems and whatnot. So I'm with you, Throwback, though. It's a really easy program to use and it works really well. But anyway, as far as the weekend and stuff, like seeing people get signed, like if they get signed to AEW, I'm always pumped. I'm like, oh sweet, like they're gonna know what to do. Like I heard Mance Warner's heading to AEW potentially, and I'm like, that I've been talking about. If you've been listening to the Weekend or the last 2 years I've been doing the show, I talk about him every weekend.
You hype people up, and then like Kyle O'Reilly, man, you always hype the right people up. You know it. You know what you're talking about.
I mean, and I think people are gonna hate hearing this. It goes the other way too. I know when someone isn't as good as what people think, and I'm seeing it happen right now on AEW. There's a certain somebody playing a lot of video games on the screen, not looking any better than he did in the WWE. I'm saying, I was talking about it beforehand. I think Miro is a great guy. I think his Twitch streams are fun, but I think there's also a reason the WWE never gave him that super push, because I think his stuff in AEW so far has been bad. So that's just my honest opinion.
Rough.
Well, and even now, it's like he comes out, they're fighting over a video game cabinet, and like you can't even understand the promo that he cuts afterwards, and you're just like, okay, I don't know what just happened there. So, and he's with Kip Sabian. Who cares? Like, who cares about that?
Well, they're both Twitch streamers. That's fine.
I get that, but like, so is AJ Styles. So is fucking
but they can't
so
talk
many
about
of
that
them.
on WWE because
True. I guess if they're gonna use that as like they're like rubbing it in our faces, like we let them do this and y'all don't. I mean, yeah, I guess that's kind of what it is, but I don't know. I'm sorry, y'all. I know there's a lot of Miro fans out there, and like I want to see him succeed. I've been saying the same thing. So I've been saying this about Miro. I said I didn't think AEW should sign Miro. I talked about that a lot. I thought he shouldn't have got signed, but I do want to see them sign someone like Joe Henning, who was in the same kind of boat. Joe Henning is Curtis Axel. They did nothing with. And I'm like, okay, I want to see him get a chance in AEW. And guess what? If he goes over there and it's bad, then WWE probably made the right call, and we were all complaining for no reason. Like, I think the WWE, as much as I think they're disconnected, there's still a lot of people that recognize talent there. And it's one of those things where sometimes people get cut from the WWE, and then they don't rebound elsewhere, and you kind of see, like, maybe yeah. And I'm never one to be like, I want people out of a job. But I think people understand what I'm saying. It's like, there's a lot of people that like we get really hyped on and get behind, and then like we shit all over the WWE for not pushing them. And then when they leave and try to do something else, they kind of fall flat, and you're like, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't have complained so much about that.
Yeah.
We're kind of seeing it with Zack Ryder. He's like my favorite. I love Zack Ryder. Like, that dude's YouTube channel is the best. Like, him and Hawkins they're my dudes. I am a major mark. But him and AEW didn't really do much. And from what I understand, he's not even under contract right now.
No, he's not under contract anymore.
And it's kind of like, I don't know.
I think that's kind of like the thing with AEW right now is there, unfortunately, like with this like quick-paced competitive wrestling industry right now, which is great for the wrestlers. They're quick. Companies are very quick to sign people and just throw them in without much of a plan. And
no fans. That also is something. That's
so true. And I feel like that's kind of like a bind right now. Is like, while understandably they want to sign these people right away and get them on TV right away so they can talk about it, and because it's hard to, in the age of social media, to not talk about what's going on. It's hard to keep that kind of stuff under wraps. It does put like AEW in a pickle, because it's like, oh, well, what should we do? Or like Impact in a pickle, like, oh,
yeah, I think
with this.
It's true. I think that's worked both ways though too, because like maybe even to my point even more honestly, because like think about Matt Hardy debuted with no fans and he fell flat in AEW. In my opinion, he's fallen flat in AEW. Well, but even before that, like he wasn't really doing much. He was losing big matches. You could tell they were trying to get Sam. I mean, his stuff with Sammy Guevara has been good aside from like the injury. Yeah. And the no fans thing kind of kills the whole gimmick for him, like the whole delete. So like he got kind of screwed there. So I'll give that a pass. But then you look at like Brody Lee, who debuted on the same night, who in my opinion is killing it. Like he's looking way better than he ever did in the WWE. So that's like the flip side of it working, where it's like fans or no fans, Brody Lee got over in my opinion. So
yeah. That's true. That's a good point. That's a really good point. I think. I know.
Today we're gonna make super Come along. APL, my show's A, B, C, A. Can you spell that?
Can I spell ABC?
Anyone?
He spelled ABC, he said.
ABC.
No,
She put makeup on her lips and her face, so if you're wondering why she's discolored.
Oh, I couldn't even tell. Probably because I'm wearing these sunglasses, like the tint's a little off.
I need to color up the wall and then I'll canvas watch. I need to color up each one and then I'll...
Okay. Okay. Ah. But yeah, I think, like you said, it shows like Brody Lee debuted. I think for Brody Lee it was probably good because there was never much of a fan reaction for him in WWE anyway.
Yeah.
So like for him to debut in front of no fans was kind of okay.
That's kind of an interesting point, yeah.
But for, Miro or like Rusev, it was careful. It was Rusev Day. You chanted that. I mean, he debuted in front of some fans, but it wasn't like the monumental like. I guess it's very difficult for a company beginning in its first year, literally its first year, to not be able to gauge by what the crowd's doing, because I feel like AEW is a company that really does want to listen to their audience, and I feel like listening to like the live audience is a great gauge of how storylines are going, what things are working and what isn't. It's very difficult to do that via social media because no one's gonna be happy with anything.
Yeah.
And
true.
So it's been. I mean, they have had more shows in quarantine than they've had outside of it.
Yeah, that's actually nuts to think about, but that's got to be true. Yeah.
I feel like that would have just ended literally any other promotion that had just started within months, less than a year old.
And they're still polling like around 1 million viewers, which is
I'm looking
nuts.
for the ratings right now.
And when I say pulling around, what do they hover around, like the 600,000-700,000, usually something around there, 800,000 on bigger weeks. I think they've hit 1 million. I think they hit 1 million when they didn't do NXT on the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic. I mean, those are for a show that just started this year, and they're, like you just said, like haven't had fans and stuff around. Like, and I want to bring this up also because we're gonna talk about Dynamite here, anyways. Like, I heard a lot of people complaining about this show, like talking about how it didn't live up to expectations and it just wasn't very good. And I'll say this, like, I thought the show was, I thought it was good. Like, I think people have to, like, I talked about this with Double or Nothing, same thing. If you're going into every single AEW like big show that they have and expecting a 10 out of 10 show, and they give you an 8 or a 7 out of 10, which I thought the show was, like, that's still a damn good show on free television. Like, if Raw was doing that, Raw's out there putting on, like, 2 out of 10s. And, like, and this isn't, like, an AEW versus WWE thing, but, like, just to make the comparison, like, if they were doing that on Monday nights, what we saw last night on Monday nights, people would be stoked on it. So, like,
I'd say it's the best show ever.
Yeah, there were things about this show I didn't like. There were a few things we're going to talk about it. But overall, I thought it was a good show.
Abysmal.
Yeah, women's match. And the opening tag match, there was a lot of weird shit. But
yeah.
But there was also a lot of good stuff here, too, in my opinion. So, and I haven't had a chance to watch NXT yet. And I'm not saying, like, AEW versus NXT or anything like that. What I am saying, though, is, like, NXT's been putting on damn good shows, too. So this isn't... They
have to, yes.
Yeah. So this isn't me exclusively being, like, AEW is the only mainstream. Like, no, NXT's been putting on good stuff, too. Like, 100%.
I love NXT.
So, yeah. Especially because they're pushing Kyle now. I know he's hurt, but, like, the fact that they're actually pushing him, I'm so happy with.
Yeah.
And Finn, hopefully he doesned have to vacate the belt. They got Halloween Havoc coming up in 2 weeks, which is awesome.
That's going to be so fun. I'm so excited for that.
Me too.
I'm so hyped.
I hope they sponsor, I hope Slim Jim sponsors them. They need to. Slim Jim or Snickers. I think those were like the original with Snickers and Slim Jim. If they can get like if they can get like, I'm sure they have, Macho Man's likeness to a degree because I know they make his action figures and stuff still. They should use the old Slim Jim commercials of him and Halloween Havoc during that. I would mark out so hard.
I'm sure WWE doesn't have rights to those.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the
Maybe
relationship with Slim
does.
Jim is.
Yeah.
I don't know. But either way.
Oh my god, a Slim Jim sounds so good.
Yeah, it does. I haven't had one of those in forever.
God, if you just like stare, it's gross. Never mind.
Snap into a Slim Jim.
Mm.
Oh yeah. All right, so NXT. What am I talking about? AEW. I mentioned it just a second ago. We had FTR retaining their tag team titles over the Best Friends in a match that I saw a lot of people didn't really enjoy too much. There was a lot of weird stuff, and the finish was kind of weird too, with like the referee like ducking out of the way. I tweeted this after the match. I do like though that FTR is unpredictable with their finishes, because like they don't always just like win with their move. Like they do some sort of tag team thing, or like, I mean, you hit you with the belt, or like use a different move now and then. It isn't just strictly them using their finishers to get wins, which I think is always a good thing. That way, every time you pin someone, it's like this could be the end of the match.
They're hard to scout.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, I mean, I think FTR retaining the titles is a no-brainer, and I love the Best Friends. It's just this match just wasn't great, and the other stuff in it made it even worse. Them going through the video game cabinet with Sabian and Miro coming out and all that stuff. I think because it looks like they're trying to do Miro and Sabian versus the Best Friends next, which might be good. It might, but if it's based off of destroying a video game cabinet, like kind of lame.
I feel like this whole Scarlett, can you please get out of the drawers, please? Hey, can you please close those, please? Hey, please come over here. Yeah, I get that it was a good way to debut him, and like you said, and we both talked about like the Twitch. Hey, no. Nope. I can give you a little bit of it. But I feel like, I don't know where they're going with. I feel like they just need to get it over with quickly. I feel like Kip Sabian is doing nothing for Miro. This whole, unless like they're holding out for like Lana to somehow join AEW.
Oh no! Don't even get that energy out into the world, please.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Hey,
That's the last thing in the world I need to see. I'm sorry, no offense to Lana, but like, the most entertaining thing about Lana to me is watching her get put through the announce table every week.
Yeah. But I don't know what is going on with this. I feel like maybe it'll be like a dark match, like AEW Dark. I don't know.
No, there's no way that would be such a slap in the face, all four of them.
I mean, it'll be good comedy wrestling, I guess.
I mean, I think it'll be. I mean, here's the thing. I think Chuck Taylor and Trent are like they're super talented. Super talented.
Yeah. Not saying that Miro and Kip Sabian aren't, but
in comparison, I'll say that I think that Best Friends is much better than those two.
Yeah.
But and I mean Trent, like Trent Beretta, like could be the world champion of the company. Like the guy has the look, he has the ring skills, like everything. Like and Chuck is just he's a little more comedy, but still very, very good. But
yeah. Okay. Yeah. This match was
I forgot that they even did the Kip Sabian and Miro versus Sean Maluta Lee Johnson match. Completely forgot that even happened.
Oh yeah.
That was just a squash. So
yeah.
That's kind of what you expect, though. I mean, Sean Maluta was in NXT for a while. Lee Johnson is one of those guys that I've watched him wrestle in Georgia and Tennessee quite a bit. He's really talented, but he's still like super young, so him taking these squash losses isn't a big deal yet. He's the same guy that was MJF's like bitch boy or whatever in his cabinet. He was always like picking on Lee, like pushing him around and stuff.
Yeah.
But like I said, Lee Johnson's actually really, really talented. His time will come. It's just going to be a minute.
Yeah.
Archer's beating the shit out of Moxley. That was good stuff leading into the main event.
That was good stuff.
And speaking of, so like, what did you think about the MJF announcement? Like, he is trying to join the inner circle, but like he has such an ego that like he didn't want to actually say it, which I thought was funny. Him talking to himself was funny. What did you think about all of it?
That was great. Well, for one, I think MJF is a fantastic like actor, like on the mic. I think he's very, very skilled. He sells it really well. He's very talented. He makes it funnier. And it's very much he's very much like a theater kid, but in like the best way possible. Like he's like the really good theater kid, like the one you're in high school and you watch him at the play, you're like, that guy's gonna make it.
By the way, that was Cody in our high school.
Really?
He did theater and wrestling. Like he was preparing. Really? He was preparing for this for a very long time.
That's amazing. I didn't know that.
Yep.
That is very MJF too. So hey.
Yep.
I mean, it works. So I thought it was really fun. Obviously, this was like as soon as I was finding out that I was on NXT. So I was kind of like trying to get all that cooperated. What do you need?
Highlight.
Not right now. Maybe in a little bit, okay?
I know. I'm missing like the thing that it's like icing to serve you.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll do that afterwards, okay? But I thought this was really like there was so much tension in the air when this was going on. Like you could tell Jericho was getting progressively more and more like angry and like cut to the chase kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like more and more threatened. Not threatened, but like kind of like annoyed and threatened at the same time. And I was like so scared that Jericho was either gonna snap and just beat the crap out of MJF, or something was gonna happen like last week where they end up being buddy again. Yeah. And like the whole hair touching thing, that was funny.
The Sammy Guevara big jacket.
Yes. Oh, but that was so funny.
Yeah.
What? Okay. And it was like, and then you could tell the inner circle was like threatened. Like, because they stole the mic from him, which was like such a disrespectful thing. And then they're like being all threatening, and then they like start threatening each other, and they go, we're going to do a steak dinner. And I was like, oh. So I cannot wait for that segment. See, here's the thing though. During this whole thing, MJF is talking, I thought he was saying challenge you instead of join. It sounded like challenge to me. So I thought he was going to challenge Jericho for some reason. So when he said join the inner circle, I was actually taken aback because I can't hear because my sinuses are clogged up. And so I thought he was saying challenge. But this should be interesting. Yeah. I don't know. What do you think?
I think it's a great storyline. I thought it was funny.
I have an idea where they're going to film this too, but I won't say.
Yeah, because you know that area.
Yeah, well, that's where it's probably going to be where I saw Jericho at.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, I thought it was really good. I really, really liked MJF. Like, he just couldn't say it, and he's out there like, all right, Max, you're blowing it. You're blowing it out there. Just say it. And he's like talking to himself out loud, trying to convince himself to just say it, you know. I think it's pretty obvious where they're going with it eventually, but getting there is what's going to be fun. So like, I think I actually was saying it during the Orange Cassidy and Chris Jericho feud. After their second match, I started seeing some hints of it. I think that they're going to turn Jericho face. And I think that it's going to be a big Jericho versus MJF. Like Jericho's going to actually, over time, let his guard down. I think he's going to like boot Sammy Guevara out of the group, and it's going to turn Sammy babyface. And I think that it's going to be this whole thing.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking, like, what if like this feud with Matt Hardy and Sammy ends up having Sammy align with Matt Hardy, and Matt Hardy's like, I can teach you my ways or whatever, and so that way they get Sammy Guevara out of the picture.
It's possible they could do something like that.
Yeah,
I think that eventually what's going to happen is MJF's going to basically take over the inner circle, and they're going to boot Jericho, and that's going to be the way of like ultimately establishing Jericho as a babyface. And MJF's going to have, like, this whole, like, clan of, like, heels. Like, him and, like, Wardlow will still be there. And they might change the group a little bit here and there. But I think it'll ultimately end up with MJF running the whole thing and them winning the world title. But I think that...
Makes sense.
Yeah. But I think that before we get there, what we're going to see is the progression of, like, Jericho actually... like letting his whole guard down and like really trusting and becoming like really good friends with MJF over the next like handful of months. And when it finally gets to that point where like they are the best of friends is when MJF just, kicks him right in the nuts and, like, the rest of the inner circle
like he did to
pounces.
Cody.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that. Which, and even though it's predictable, I think it's a really good story, and it just, like, it just keeps establishing MJF as just this asshole heel, which is exactly what they need to do. So, just a completely untrustworthy. Now, there are a few other ways they can go with it, though, because, like, I do think that Wardlow is going to turn on MJF at some point also. Like, he's going to, like, have to go babyface on MJF soon, too. Not necessarily soon, but it's going to happen. Like, they've planted seeds for it already with the way that MJF lost to Moxley and all that stuff. So, but here's the thing. I always said about AEW, there's so many different ways they can go with all this stuff. Like, obviously, like, we all called FTR versus Young Bucks when FTR signed. But, like, the way they're getting there is what I enjoy. Because, like, all this other stuff is happening before they actually wrestle. And that stuff also involves storylines with Hangman and Omega, which they have their own thing. And the storylines mix into that. Which, just so much good stuff. But, yeah, I love the storyline. And I think the steak dinner, it's funny that we're watching two heterosexual men on a steak dinner date next week. It's kind of funny. So we'll see how that goes. The next match, we had Cody retaining the TNT Championship over Orange Cassidy. It wound up being a time limit draw, so Cody retains the title, but neither man actually wins the match. Orange Cassidy hit the mousetrap pin right at the end with like 1 second left. Didn't get the win time lineup. What do you think about this one? And what do you think?
This match was great.
Yeah. What do you think about Cody retaining over Orange Cassidy there? And kind of Orange Cassidy's spot right now. Like, kind of like losing a bunch of big matches. But beating Jericho, but losing a couple big matches since then.
Well, he didn't technically lose this match. He ran out of time.
True. That's a very fair point.
He was gonna beat Cody.
Super fair point. I don't know why I didn't. Yes, you're totally right about that.
So I thought it was great. I even kind of was like, this is going to go to a draw, which it did, but it was time limit exceeded, basically, so Cody retained. And no, you do not. My daughter's really getting into stuff right now, so I'm like halfway distracted. But this was a really, really good match. This is one of the best TV matches that they've put on AEW Dynamite, I think. I thought it was great. I thought it was a lot of fun. I think Orange Cassidy is incredibly talented. Obviously, Cody Rhodes is incredibly talented. Cody Rhodes didn't have to bleed. Did he bleed?
I don't know what noise that was. I don't think he did in this one. Last week he did, definitely, with that dog collar match. But yeah, the thing with Orange Cassidy is, I'm a huge fan of his. I was when he was on the Indies. Even before like he became this big deal, I knew who he was. He used to do a lot of stuff with Chuck Taylor and Drew Gulak and those kind of guys. And I think that Orange Cassidy is best served as a special attraction. I saw Jonathan Snowden tweeting about it also last night. Like, I think he's right on the money. I think Orange Cassidy is an incredible worker. I think he's incredibly over. And I think he should be a regular part of the show, but he should wrestle very sparingly. Even though he's very good at wrestling, he shouldn't be, like, because what's going to wind up happening is his act's going to get old if he keeps doing it over and over and over again like this. And even though he's insanely talented at what he does, I think that after a while, people are going to lose interest in it if he keeps doing it, like, week after week after week. I don't know how much that you were able to hear, if any of it.
I could hear all of it. I couldn't hear it because my dad's trying to move chairs. So I'm sorry.
Yeah. But yeah, what do you think about that? Like, I think what do you think about that? Like, I think Orange Cassidy, I think he's incredible. Big fan of his, but I think he should wrestle way less often. It should be more of a special attraction thing.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I completely agree. I think you don't want to dilute the specialness of Orange Cassidy because his whole thing is he doesn't like to try.
Yes.
And so he's having to try every week. Oh my god. Hold on a second.
You're good. But yeah, that's exactly what's happening. I'm with Jesse there because you basically have a character who doesn't care about anything. And now I feel like he's caring a little too much, as like weird as that sounds. But he's such a great character at being that guy who doesn't care. But we're seeing him care like every week. Like I feel like it should be a thing where like he's still, once again, he's still a part of the show and he's aligned with the best friends and he's still doing whatever, wherever. But he basically like has to get to a point like he did with Jericho where he just gets to that line is just crossed too many times to where he's like, all right, I have to care. I have to go do this. But otherwise he just doesn't care. And I think that's what makes his character so entertaining and why he's so over to begin with. If he was just a really, because let's be fair, like he's a very small guy. Like if he was just some small guy who was just going out there just beating people every week, I mean, it isn't totally out of like the realm of possibility, but it's also like it makes it a lot more fun for me with like his stature and his laid back character and all that stuff, that he gets you to put your guard down with all of his antics. And when you put your guard down, he flies all over the place. And I don't necessarily want to see him in competitive back and forth matches with guys like Cody and Moxley and stuff like that on like a regular basis, and Jericho. Just my personal opinion. Once again, I'm a humongous fan. I've got a signed 8x10 of the dude sitting on my wall right now. I mean, like, love Orange Cassidy. I think that they're just using him too much.
Yeah, I agree with that. Sorry, we're gonna have to like wrap this up soon.
You're good.
I'm sorry.
No, I know. I got it.
I'm so sorry. It's hard to be a mom, and she's been very needy these past few days. So, my apologies. But yeah, I completely agree with everything you said. I feel like it's a fine line that AEW has to draw here, because while Orange Cassidy is very over, and Orange Cassidy is very popular, it's like that's what makes him special, is seeing him wrestle only a few times,
Exactly.
So yeah.
The next match, we already basically gave an opinion on this one. So Sheeta versus Big Swole.
Man, crap.
Yeah. I'm just gonna throw it out there. Kind of been saying that for a minute about Big Swole. Just saying.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, y'all. Like, Sheeta's been solid. Goes out there and what's her only bad match. All right, we'll just move on from that one. Then we had the main event, which I thought was awesome. Like, I think if anyone watched this show and they were like, "This show sucked," great. It's like if you watch this, it brings it from like a 5 or a 6 out of 10 to like the 7 or 8 out of 10. This one match alone, I thought this was awesome. I mean, there was a lot of like kind of crazy stuff. You had Eddie Kingston on commentary killing it, calling out Jim Ross for like not knowing what he's talking about.
Yes. Eddie Kingston on commentary was so fantastic. Like, that elevated this match to like GOAT territory, just because Eddie Kingston is so amazing.
Yep, I totally agree. And even after the match, I'm skipping ahead a little bit, but like you can see that story is still going between Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley, which is awesome. Because Eddie Kingston, people can say what they want about his physique, which is fair. Like, he doesn't look like you know what I mean? Like, he's not in like super good shape.
Neither is Kevin Owens.
Well, sure, but I'm just saying, like, it was the same with Kevin Owens. That was a big reason why, like, Eddie Kingston himself will talk about it. That's the reason Eddie never got signed to the WWE. He knows it's because of his physical appearance. Like, because he knows if he had, had that fucking look, that his talent and his mic work, he would have for sure. But the same would happen with Owens. Owens just got so incredibly hot on the indies that it was undeniable. Like, the WWE had to sign him. Otherwise, he was going to get signed somewhere else when the opportunity came up. But both Kingston, what I love so much about that story, they talked about it on commentary, is Kingston salty that Moxley made it to the World of the Entertainers and didn't bring him and the other guys along with. And that's such a good story, because that's real. Like, I love it. As far as this actual match, what did you think about the match itself? And Moxley got kind of like the Hail Mary last second pin there over Archer.
Yes, that like roll up kind of. It was basically like, it was like a reversal roll up kind of thing.
Basically a backslide, or what did you call it? I used to use it in high school. That move, I used to call it the DFT, because we used to So we joke about the Mighty Ducks all the time. It stood for Ducks Fly Together. I used to hit that because I put you because it made it look like you had wings. Your wings were out on the mat. I used to put it out. The Ducks. I pinned a couple kids with that actually.
It was very last minute. It's amazing.
Yes.
By the way,
I can't remember what it's called in wrestling, but there's definitely a name for it. But anyways, yeah.
Yeah, no, I thought this was really good. I appreciated there being no rope breaks in a no DQ match. It was like, this was fun. I had fun watching this. I feel like Jon Moxley matches all have to be like that. And with Lance Archer being there, it just kind of had to be one of those hardcore, like, brutality-driven matches. And I really liked it. I don't think, even though Lance Archer got pinned, I don't think it made him look really bad, because I think he still looks very much like a threat. I feel like it was a really good match. It definitely did what it needed to do. It made Lance Archer look legitimate as like a world championship competitor, and like in the spotlight, deservingly so. But it also made Jon Moxley look like a legitimate world champion who should deservedly have the belt and still does. And I guess we'll find out who his next challenger is. But it's like, this was really good and amazing. This is like the second time. Well, no, it's not. Lance Archer hasn't gone for the world. He's gone for the TNT, right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, okay. So he's had 2 big losses now.
That's it, though, for the whole year. It's those 2. It's this last night, and it's the 2 titles. Exactly.
You know? So I love the way when he's like entering, he just like throws people, just F that guy. It's great.
Well, that was a perfect lead into what I was going to say real quick. It was F that guy.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
You know what that... Yeah. Because they already had the built-in story with him and Brian Cage and that FTW title.
Yes.
There's not much more like fuck the world than what Lance Archer kind of puts out there. So like, I think that's where we're headed soon.
That's so true.
I think we're going to get Lance Archer and Brian Cage. And I also think that Darby Allin is going to be in that mix.
Yes.
So.
Yes. Darby Allin was up in the bleachers, up in the nosebleeds watching.
And he was watching the TNT title match also from up there too. So I think that there's.
Oh, is that it?
But he's been in the he's been in that feud with Team Taz also this whole time, obviously too. So like. So.
Brian Cage.
Because he's taken out Ricky Starks now, but I think Brian Cage versus Darby will be really good. I think that they should definitely do that also.
Yeah, I agree. I was asking, where's Lance Archer go from here, and perhaps that's where they're heading. Because obviously Mox is just, well, no, because Mox has Eddie Kingston in his way.
Well, they're doing that tournament. It's like that 16-person tournament that's going to... So I guess what they have to do is they have to figure out what Mox is going to do at Full Gear, which will probably be Kingston, I'm assuming. Maybe not. Maybe they'll do that on on Dynamite. But I think that the finals of that number 1 contender tournament happens at Full Gear. So...
Oh, does it?
I think. That's the next pay-per-view, right? Full Gear? I think.
Yes. Or is it Revolution? No, it's Full Gear.
So I think that the finals happens then. So Moxley would have to wrestle someone else at Full Gear, and then we would know who his next challenger would be for the next big show. So we'll find out a lot on that show. And I don't know who it's going to be. I don't have like the list of participants in front of me, but it looked like a really fun tournament.
Well, the finals is clearly going to be Kenny versus Hangman Page.
That's true. I forgot that that's because they also have like the Lucha Brothers wrestling each other in the first round. Mm-hmm. I can't remember who else they named for it, but yeah, you're right. It'll definitely wind up being Hangman versus Kenny, and then I feel, man, that's such a choice to make too, because like,
ooh.
I
think Hangman Page had a chance against Jericho already,
and Kenny has the backstory with Mox already from when AEW started. Mm-hmm. I think that's because
Full Gear, wasn't that death match at Full Gear?
I think so. Because this would be right around that time because Moxley hit him with that Dirty Deeds through the glass.
Onto the glass,
leading into it. Yeah, so I guess the most logical thing would be Kenny winning the tournament, Kenny beating Mox for the title, and then eventually Hangman beating Kenny for the title.
Yes. I think that's perfect.
So, that's all good stuff. Do you have speaking before we get out of here, do you have like anything that sticks out as like a favorite memory from the last year of AEW?
Ooh.
The first year of the company. I know I have one that sticks out for me, but I want to hear from you.
Well, like distinctive like memories. Like the first thing that comes to mind for me is when Cody was getting those lashes, and Brandy came out and like talked to him. That was very emotional. That was beautiful television. I think that whole feud and that cage match was insane. I
was there live at that cage match too. That was awesome.
I know. Like, gosh, for me, AEW started at Double or Nothing in Vegas.
Right.
That was for me because I was there.
Count that, for sure. Yeah.
Count that. Okay, so yeah, the whole first year for me has been like monumental, not only for AEW, but for me as well. I feel like because of AEW, I'm able to be where I'm at today, like in regards to like what wrestling Twitter or whatever. And I'm able to in turn have like an OnlyFans page, which supports my family. And I feel like without that main base of people, I wouldn't be able to have an OnlyFans that's doing pretty well. We wouldn't be as doing as well as we are. We're over 10,000 subscribers on this without AEW.
Yeah, for real.
I think AEW has really rejuvenated the professional wrestling fan like excitement, enthusiasm. Yep. I think it's given so many people an alternative WWE because we kind of just grinned and bared it for a while. I mean, there was Impact and there's New Japan, which is great. There's kind of a language barrier with New Japan, which is, ignorant on our parts, whatever, but it's true. And there's like a whole time difference, which I know a lot of the dedicated UK people, shout out to them. They're up every night watching Raw and SmackDown and AEW and NXT, and that's amazing. But, we're spoiled here in the States. And I feel like AEW has given so many people like an outlet to creativity as far as professional wrestling is going, and showing them not only what professional wrestling can be, but it's also opening them up to like the indies as well. I feel like AEW has been a really good driver for the indies. Now, albeit there be a pandemic going on, so all of that's kind of been on hold for a long time, and the fans haven't really been able to be in the crowds. But gosh, what a refreshing reboost, rejuvenation of my love for professional wrestling AEW has been.
Yep.
It's been so fun for me. I'm able to interact with these people on a daily basis on Twitter, which, I mean, you can do with WWE as well, but with AEW, it's a smaller company, so just because it's a smaller company, there's, in turn, a smaller outreach, but they're very enthusiastic about their fans, and it feels like I matter, Like, not that I don't matter to WWE, but it definitely feels like not just me, but like everybody, fans matter to them, and it feels like I finally have a voice in a wrestling company, and we're finally being heard, and we're finally getting a product that we all like to see, or we like to see, some of us like to see, and I'm so grateful for that. I am so grateful for AEW and being able to go to, these Dynamites. I'm so grateful to be able to go to these pay-per-views. Like, if you don't know me, like, that Double or Nothing show was such a monumental, like, confidence boost for me, that first Double or Nothing, because I had never done anything by myself since my daughter was born. I had never gone out and done anything, and I did, and I had fun, and I was like, oh, okay, I can do this, and I can enjoy wrestling, and I can, go to these shows and actually interact and not be scared to, and have a chance to do this, and it really did. It skyrocketed, like, me in my confidence as far as, like, a person. Like, I know it sounds so ridiculous.
No, I know what you mean.
But, like, I was like, okay, maybe I can talk about wrestling and, like, have friends about it. And then I found, like, a bunch of like-minded people who are my friends. I've made some lifetime friends because of AEW. I mean, we talk all the time because of AEW. Me and Sean talk all the time. It's like there are so many people who I've met through wrestling that if it wasn't for AEW, who I probably wouldn't be as close to, because it's rejuvenated the passion for most of these people. And the first year has just been super fantastic, and I can't wait for many more years of it. And I think it'll be great. And that was kind of long. And thank you so much, Paul, for your super chat. We will get to that in a second. I promise. Thank you so much. It really means a lot to us. Like, thank you. But I do want to hear what your favorite moment of AW was the first year.
There's a lot of good ones. I'd say, like, my favorite match, because I think, like, there's been a lot of really good matches. And the one that, like, sticks out, there's two that stick out the most. One being Dustin versus Cody. Like, that one's always going to be, like,
yeah.
I mean, that really set the stage for, like, what the company just is, you know? Yeah. And then, but the one that comes to mind as far as, like, maybe one of the best matches I've ever seen was the Young Bucks versus Omega and Hangman. I think it was at Revolution last year in their tag team match.
Yeah.
That was just incredible. I mean, there's been so many good ones, though. I'm missing out. Or I could list probably 10 or 20 of them that, like, I'd go back and watch right now. But as far as my favorite moment, not only my favorite moment in AEW history, it's probably my favorite moment in pro wrestling history. And it was when Cody took that sledgehammer and hit that fucking throne. I was so fucking happy. I was like, I marked out harder than I ever had in my entire life. Like, because it was like a lot of what you were just saying. I've been a pro wrestling fan since I can pretty much date it back to like 1994 is like around the time I can like remember stuff. And I was born in 88, so I was like 8 years old, give or take. Or 6 years old, I guess, give or take. That'd be 6. But ever since WCW went out of business, like, it was like year after year, it was only WWE, and it was like I was liking it less and less and less to the point where like I was about done watching wrestling. And the only thing that kept me into wrestling for a while was the indies, because I at least had like SUP to go to in Nashville, and I had the Cena City Invitational stuff to go to in Chattanooga. And then like IWTV really blew up. It was Powerbomb.tv, and it was kind of just treading water. Then it became IWTV and like blew up, and they got the rights to all these amazing companies, and I got sucked right back in. But like on the indie side, WWE like didn't really care what was going on. But on the indies, I was like, okay, at least I can still like wrestling. At least there's something for me to like still here. And
I'm still a fan, and I know it. I was in denial for a little bit, yeah.
Exactly. And there was a lot of really good stuff going on in New Japan. Like, I was really into the Shinsuke Nakamura era there. I was really into the Omega versus Okada stuff. I was really into the rise of Naito. And there's been a lot of really good stuff in New Japan. I love Ishii. I think Shibata is the biggest what if in wrestling history, because he at the time that he got injured, I think he'd be the top guy in that company right now if he was still healthy. So there was good stuff, you know, there around, but the main thing was like WWE was not for me anymore, and they were basically unapologetic about it, and like not that they need to be, but it's like they were making a PG show for kids, mainly for kids and their parents, and I fell in this demographic that they don't care about, and. When AEW came around, and when I saw that show and Cody hitting that throne, for one, on a personal level, I was like, this is just amazing. Like, this guy that I shared a wrestling room with for 2 years that I have watched go from high school wrestler to WWE, like, underused guy for a decade to, I mean, I followed his OVW career. I followed everything he did. And then to see him in this company, and then have that role of like, I'm basically the Triple H here, and like I'm gonna do things my way here, and this is gonna be different. Like, that's how I felt about all that. I marked out so hard, and on top of it, I was like, holy shit! And all the people I've been watching on the indies have a chance now. Like Marco Stunt would have never gotten signed to the WWE. Joey Janela would have never gotten signed to the WWE. Darby Allin quit Evolve because he was afraid of getting signed to the WWE because in his own words, he said they'd make me a weirdo who jerked off in the corner. He knew that they would just fuck him. So he got out of Evolve to avoid getting moved to NXT. Like there are all these people that had no chance. Chuck Taylor was never going to get signed to the WWE. Trent Beretta had been fired from the WWE. He wasn't going to be coming back. There are so many people I can talk about that are like, they all have chances now, and we're seeing it right now happening still. MJF's another one from then. There's so many, like 80% of the roster that they started with are these people I'm talking about, and now we're seeing the next group of people. Like I've been talking for a while, Mance Warner. We're starting to hear about it, and I'm like, I've been talking about him for about 3 years now that this will happen. The next kind of guys coming, like keep your eyes out for guys like Matthew Justice. Keep your eyes out for guys like AJ Gray. There's a new kid, Lee Moriarty, coming up right now. It's going to be a big deal. There's a lot of Trey Lamar is going to be a big deal. There's a lot of so many talented. Right now, the big one is Ben Carter. Like he apparently has offers from AEW and WWE and Impact. And it's going to be interesting to see where he lands because Ben Carter, I think, is served best in AEW, but he was trained by Seth Rollins. So, I mean, he'd have a lot of help there in the WWE. So anyways, that's a really long way of saying, like, this company actually, on top of just, like, rejuvenating my love of, like, mainstream wrestling, and NXT was doing it too, by the way. NXT was great. But the NXT was basically doing super indies. And then you were afraid if they got moved to Raw or SmackDown. It gives wrestlers hope, and that's also to say, like, the WWE is still signing good talent. I just mentioned it earlier. There's 2 people I know that signed over the weekend that I think are super talented. I know Kurt Stallion is heading there. They officially announced that the other day. The WWE, he's in the Performance Center. He was one of my guys, first ever Southern Underground Pro champion, Kurt Stallion. Josh Briggs just got signed, a guy that I've been saying since the first time I saw him in Beyond Wrestling, saying the WWE is going to swoop this guy up the second they're able to. Boom, there he is. So, I love it. AEW is the best. The Indies are the best. WWE, NXT is great. I think they got a lot of work to do on Raw and SmackDown. They got a couple good things going, but as far as my allegiance, I hate making it this company versus this company as often as I do, but, like, I am AEW all day. So...
I'm all elite.
I am all elite. All right, so I'm going to read off our sponsors here in a second after we talk about Paul's...
I was going to say, woo!
No, after we talk about Paul's Super Chat. Along with Paul's Super Chat, if anyone else has anything else for us, any other Super Chats or donations, the donation link is down in the description. After we talked about Paul... what Paul has his question, then we're going to talk about our sponsors. After that, any remaining super chats or donations we will address before we get off air. So, go ahead and read that off for Paul, Jesse.
Yes. So Paul with a super chat. Thank you so much, Paul. We super duper appreciate it. He said, "Can you guys talk about the Brit Baker segment?" Which I totally forgot about. So thank you, Paul. I thought that was hilarious. I think Brit Baker is so funny, and I absolutely love her. And I think I even tweeted, I was like, imagine not liking Brit Baker. I feel like they're doing all these, like, vignettes with her because I feel like you thought it was weird. Well, he was naked. That was weird.
No, I get that it was like the 40-year-old virgin. Like, I get that.
Yeah,
but I was
that was funny.
I just looked up at my screen and I was like, this is like it's like a fat old Tony Schiavone with like getting like his fucking. This is weird. This is weird as hell, man.
It was weird, but I mean, they've got like the whole thing with her and Tony, which is really funny.
It makes sense.
I feel like they're doing this because Britt Baker's probably not fully healed.
Yeah,
and
I think you're right.
I feel like they don't want to put her too much in the ring yet. Ooh, I just moved my computer. So that's why they're kind of doing these backstage, and it's not like hurting her in any way. I just think they're funny. I thought it was hilarious. It was like, what the heck? But it was funny. And I love how they, like, pulled the wax strip off, and then Britt Baker's, like, laughing.
Yeah.
It was great. So, I thought it was funny.
I thought it was funny also. I just thought it just was very weird. To actually watch. Especially because Tony Schiavone, like, his career trajectory has been so weird because, you know, he was the long-time announcer. Like, he worked for the WWF for a short time, and then he was the long-time announcer for WCW or a commentator or whatever, and all that stuff. And then he, like, got completely out of pro wrestling from, like, 2001 till, like 3 years ago. Like, if that, he started popping up on MLW shows, like, out of nowhere. He was just doing these random, but during that, he was calling Braves baseball and UGA football, for anyone who cares.
What?
Yeah, he was doing that the whole time in between the wrestling gigs. So, he's like an Atlanta radio, like, he's a really well-known Atlanta radio guy. Like, he's, like, around where I live, like, he's, like, a known, like, people wouldn't know him. People are more likely where I'm from probably to know him, even though WCW is huge here. People right now are probably more likely to know him as, like, the UGA commentator than a pro wrestling commentator, which is kind of crazy. Yeah, I don't care about him, but yeah, your boy is pretty funny.
He's.
And Paul, thank you for the super chat. I mean, I can't really answer it any better than that. I thought it was really weird, but it was funny. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I've already got our sponsors pulled up, and we can do all the thumbs up and all that stuff afterwards. All right, Music City Toys and Collectibles, y'all. They're the place to be for wrestling action figures and DVDs and autographs and a ton of different stuff. They will give you a fair price, and they are nice people. They're very easy to deal with, and they do stuff on their Facebook page all the time that I talk about, where, like, they put items up and you can claim them, and then they invoice you the price. Then, like, you know what the price is going into it. There's no shadiness going on, but you know the price ahead of time, and if you want it, they just invoice you on PayPal the next day, and they include shipping with all their pricing. So if you see something that's $5, that's the full price. You send them $5 and they ship it to you. There's nothing fugazi going on there. So yeah, they're great. And they also started doing these mystery boxes this month. And I know it's something that they were really, I wish they had them. Where do they have them here? I saw them on on the VIP group. Oh, here's one of them. This is perfect. So, they started this month, and I know Chad, the guy that runs the operation over there at Music City Toys and Collectibles, he's been working on doing this for a while, and he's, like, really, really stoked to be able to do these mystery boxes. So they're only $30, and they're themed. So this month, it is a I Love the 80s mystery box. So I don't know what's in the box, but I'd imagine it's going to be some, like, old school, probably WWF stuff, maybe some NWA stuff. I mean, this was the era of, you know, Hulkamania. This was the era of the Nature Boy. This was a lot of really good stuff going on in the 80s. And I'd imagine that going forward each month, it'll be a different theme. And they're only $30. There's a direct link in to their PayPal, and you just send them $30, and you put in the comment October Mystery Box. That's how easy it is. Literally email them the money, or PayPal them the money, write in the description October Mystery Box, $30, and they ship it out to you. I think it's awesome. Me and Jesse were talking a little bit before we got going here, and we hit the 10,000 subscriber mark, almost at the 10,500 subscriber mark, which is pretty nuts. That I feel like a lot of people are subscribing lately, which is great.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna reach out and see if we can get one of these thrown in for a subscriber prize. We have some other prizes, so, like, we have something coming for y'all. We are going to be doing a giveaway for hitting 10,000 subs, and we've been talking about it for a minute. This is something, I don't know if it'll be the October box or if we're going to wait until closer to, like, the holidays, but I do intend on getting at least one mystery box in there for y'all, so y'all can all see what it is. And I'll probably get one for myself. I know I've got some mystery boxes for Christmas through, like, pro wrestling tees and stuff, just because I want the excitement of opening something that I don't actually know what it is for Christmas. So that kind of stuff. But that all being said, Music City Toys and Collectibles, they're awesome. Check them out. Just search them on all social media. WrestleRumble.com. Killer belt giveaway is going on right now. Got to remove the shades and lean in so I can read the text. There are 4 killer prizes. First prize is the Hardcore Championship and a custom Jason mask from Friday the 13th Part 3. Second prize is the Fiend Custom Championship and a custom Jason mask from Friday the 13th Part 4. Third place is going to get a Jeff Hardy Championship belt, and fourth place is getting 2 mystery belts. And the entry price for that is $1. Hypothetically speaking, you can put in $4 and win that entire thing. So, yeah, definitely jump over there, WrestleRumble.com. And I saw that they just bought the newly released Macho Man replica, or custom. So that's pretty cool. I know they're going to be doing a giveaway with that. Maybe that'll be one of the 2 mystery belts. I don't know. But, yeah, WrestleRumble.com. Make sure to check out their Twitter as well. Follow them at WrestleRumble to stay up to date with all their contests and all of their raffles. And lastly, my brother, Brian Jensen, he is a co-owner of Steel Boxing and Athletics. He works with Parkinson's Foundations. He can help you reach your goals, whether you're looking to learn how to throw hands, get in better shape, you want to box at an amateur or professional level, if you just want to learn self-defense a little bit, or whatever it is, whatever the case is, or if you have any kind of neurological issue. He works with a lot of Parkinson's patients, a lot of people with similar issues, like not just specifically Parkinson's. Like, there's a lot of diseases very similar to Parkinson's that Brian's an expert in. He's like legitimately certified in this stuff, and he's dealt with this stuff personally himself too. So he's like one of the best people you can possibly reach out to if you're looking for help with this kind of stuff. And as I'm saying this, they are cutting down trees right outside of my window.
Heard that.
With these on, I can't hear it as much. But
it's not bad.
One of the it looked like it almost came through my window. Like the branches were like that's why I looked up. Whoa. But yeah, Brian will help you out. Like I said, whether you're in the Atlanta, Georgia area or not, he can help you. Like, if you want to come to his gym, he can help you there. If you want to come to your business or your home, or go out to a park out in the fresh air and hit pads or whatever it is, he can do that. And if you're not anywhere close, he can help you remotely. Just Zoom calls and that kind of stuff. Super easy. And like all of our sponsors, tell them that Jesse and myself told you about him, and I promise you get some really good deals. Make sure to hit up Brian on Instagram. That's the best way to get a hold of him. Boxing ATL. BOXING ATL. Just shoot him a message. Get a knockout workout without getting knocked out. Hit up Brian Jensen right now. And if you want to follow me, you can follow me on Twitter at FightTalk_. That's FIGHTTALK_. I had another All Things MMA video go up the other day. It's about Justin Gaethje, who's fighting for the lightweight championship against Khabib Nurmagomedov in a few weeks. So check that out. If you're an MMA fan, check out my other MMA podcast for the Sobros Network, Another Round MMA. Fightful Weekender, that I talked about it before. Free issue, free edition. Did you see how sunny it is right now? See that glare coming off me?
Bright.
That's why I'm wearing these shades. But yeah, if you want to see listen to a free preview of the Fightful Select Weekender podcast, I break down all 12 shows of the collective over the weekend. So check that out on wherever you consume your podcasts, including on YouTube. And yeah, I don't know. I just finished another video for All Things MMA about my favorite fighter of all time. So when that goes up, I'll be pretty happy. So yeah, a lot of stuff going on. I try to put it all on my Twitter. And then Jesse, get you pulled up there for your stuff.
Yay! So that's me. You can follow me on Twitter at Jesse the Buckeye, JessieTheBuckeye. That is the best way to see me live react to wrestling and all things wrestling. If you want to know me a little bit more than wrestling, the best place to find me is my OnlyFans, onlyfans.com/JessieTheBuckeye. The link is in my Twitter bio. I've had a lot of people ever since last night trying to add my, what the heck?
Yeah, that's them chopping. They're literally taking these trees down and throwing them through like the fucking machine, like the chipper. So yeah, this is actually perfect timing to finish the show up, because this is happening literally right outside. Like, I'm looking at these people like in the trees as we're doing this. They're about to be watching me do some pretty funny stuff through this window here in a second.
But so I've had a lot of people try to add me on Instagram and not add me on Facebook, because you can't. But my Instagram is private. My Facebook is very private. I don't do a lot of personal stuff because I have to protect my family. But if you want to see me, if you want to DM me, talk with me, see more of me, then my OnlyFans is the place to go. It's the best way to support me directly and my family. and it really means a lot to me. I put a lot of effort into my OnlyFans. I do a lot of really fun stuff over there, so I would really appreciate if you subscribed and checked it out. But if you want to support me and Steven, which is what the cool kids do, you can do it for free over here. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can give this video a thumbs up if you like what you saw, because that really helps us out. We love our chat. We love our super chatters. We love our regular chatters. We love everyone in our chat. We think it's a good vibe. We always pass the vibe check, and we want more people like y'all. So when you guys thumbs up that video, it really does tell people that what they see is good, and that it tells YouTube, hey, maybe we should recommend this to more people. So it does really help us out. And please subscribe. Like I said, we're going to do a giveaway here soon. We're just trying to figure out, like, we want to make it really nice and big because we're so thankful for so many subscribers.
And maybe we'll do like multiple winners or something too. Maybe we'll do like a few different prizes for a few different people. Yeah, so we'll we're getting it all figured out for y'all, but like prizes are coming, trust me.
Yes. So those are like the best ways. Other than my Twitter, other than my OnlyFans, this is the best place to go, best place to be, and that is all I have.
That's all I've got too. We might as well go ahead and get on out of here because, like I said, they are destroying these trees in front of me. I'm glad that they are because, like, some of them, like I've told you before, like they've taken out like entire balconies and gone through some people's ceilings because we're surrounded by trees. But there are a couple of these trees here that I really like the way that it shields my windows from the rest of my neighbors sometimes. So I just realized the other day, by the way, there is an angle like from this direction where I've been living here for almost a year. I didn't realize because there's somebody who has definitely been watching me do stuff through this window because I didn't know the angle was there, and I looked the other day and there was my neighbor had their window completely open and were just looking directly into my windows.
Awkward.
And I was like, wait, what? It wasn't anything like, they weren't doing anything weird. They were just looking directly at me. And this was at probably around 2 a.m. and my lights were on and their lights were on.
They probably don't remember. Let's be real. They probably don't remember what they saw.
And I may or may not have been listening to Rihanna with no clothes on and hanging out with myself. So
what?
I'm kidding. So in this room I can't go no clothes in this room because it's all windows.
Yeah.
But I do like to listen to like Rihanna and shit in the middle of the night after I do work sometimes. Like I just fucking party music fucking after I do my work and I'm winding down. So yeah, as much as I'm down on women's wrestling as often as I am, I love women's music. Like I love it.
Yeah.
Listen to like Celine Dion and like fucking that kind of shit also. Anyways, this is a great time to get out of here. Y'all have a great week. I don't know when we'll be back next.
Yeah. Subscribe.